Hi, this is Olga from The Wisdom Way, the Google Sheets and Notion templates for your personal and professional business use. Today, I will guide you on how to use the 5-year personal budget tracker. If you have purchased the 3-year finance tracker, the instructions are still exactly the same. All the budgeting and cash flow templates are designed by our financial advisors to help you achieve your financial goals through an easy-to-use tracker. Please note that this tracker is designed to log and track your personal budgeting and investments goals. If you need to track your business cash flow, check out the 5-year business cash flow tracker that is specifically designed to track and log all your revenue and expenses. Also, if you enjoy using the Notion software, we have an enhanced version of our personal finance 5-year tracker for Notion. I will ensure to leave the links below this video. Additionally, you will be able to find the links in your text guides. Now, let's go back to the instructions. This demo is conducted on a filled-out sheet, which you can also find linked in your text guide here, so that you can make a copy of the sample sheet. But because of the fact I want to showcase all the main functions of the template, I will be using the sample version of it. The original file you will be downloaded is empty, so you won't see the dashboard insights if you do not have the data entered for the specified period. So if you could see here, this is an empty version and we do not have any data here because we have not filled it out yet. This template includes a backend script that allows you to use the same template to enter data monthly for a 5-year period on separate monthly tabs you will see below. You can see insights into your 5-year income, expenses, savings, and investment breakdown without needing to copy the same file each year. The complete template contains 67 data entry sheets, 60 tabs for logging activities, 5 annual summary tabs separately for each month and year, and 2 fixed tabs, dashboard and the setup ones. Additionally, the template includes 13 tabs for the calendar year 2024 for those who purchase the template in the year 2024. Before we start to showcase how to log your expenses and savings, I want to mention a couple of warnings. First, do not edit the years at the setup page here, as the years are static in this specific template and are tied to the backend script. The file includes a bonus year 2024, as already mentioned. So if you have purchased the 5-year or the 3-year finance tracker, ensure that you are using the years that we have in the drop-down menu here. Second, make sure that you do not edit the grayed out fields. They contain formulas and will update automatically. To prevent you from accidentally editing the formulas, we have added the warning message. But please note that for some fields you may also see this warning message, such as let's say we have here. So in this case scenario, you have to hit OK as you are adding the new categories to the income flow tab. Next, do not later edit the categories you have already entered here if you have associated with the logs activity, as they do not automatically update in the actual logs, which may lead to the errors on the dashboard. As an example, if you have already used the subcategory salary in your logs activity, let's say here, and you have decided to remove the category salary to another one, then you will see the error message here. Of course, if you really need to change the listing category here, which you have already used in your logs, that's okay, but we have to set up all the expectations for you so that you know that you may get lots of error messages like this in case if you do so. So try to avoid changing the sub-listing categories here. Also, the categories and subcategories are exactly the same for all the years. So let's say if you have decided to change the subcategory later, let's say in 3 years, you will see the error messages in the category lists if you have already used those for the previous year's logs. Alright, now let's start. So, in order to prompt the Google Sheets pop-up to give permission for the script, first choose the year you want to start logging your expenses. In this example, I will be using the year 2025. Next, choose the currency. Some currencies are already in the drop-down list as examples, but if you need to add your own currency, Scroll to the right, enter your currency label, click OK, and currency sign, click OK. The currency will now appear in the drop-down list here. After you have chosen the year from the drop-down list and the currency, go ahead and click the green button to start authorizing the script. On the very top, you will see running script message, so just wait until you see a pop-up from Google Sheets. Now, an authorization required pop-up message will appear. Click OK. Choose the account you want to associate with the current template, and be sure to hit Advanced. Then you will see a link. Go to 5-year finance tracker script, click there, and click Allow. Now, once you have allowed the script to run, the system will bring you back to the setup page. This is a one-time action. The next step is to actually run the script for the chosen year. In our case, this is a year 2025. You will need to run the script every time you are going to change the required year to log your expenses. The action of running script will only need to be performed when you have to switch to another year from the drop-down list to log your expenses. So you will most likely be doing that once per year. Please note that this green button may not work from your mobile phone. So ensure if you click a green button to run the script, you're doing that from the desktop version of Google Sheets. Now, all you have to do is click the green button again so that the script starts running. On the top, you will see the message that the script is actually running right now. The script may take up to 10 minutes to load, depending on your hardware and internet speed. So please wait at least 5 to 10 minutes here. The tabs below still show the previously chosen year of 2024, but as you see now, the tabs below are now showing the year 2025 instead of the previous one, 2024. But even if all the tabs are already showing the correct year, still wait until you will see the pop-up message Done. Sometimes you may get error messages such as time exceeded, etc. This is normal. If that happens, we recommend waiting up to 5 minutes. If the script has not updated the year yet, as we are seeing now, click the green button again to rerun the script. Okay, now we do see the pop-up message Done. So click OK. Now the template is ready to be fully used, and we can go ahead and customize the categories. We have already added the most common categories for each, but feel free to edit or remove any of those to align with your expense and income. Fixed expenses are those which are predictable and fixed, so we usually know how much we are going to spend. Those usually include such subcategories as regular bills, debt and credit, housing, rent, insurance, subscription and services, and others. So let's add another subcategory such as rent. And as I already mentioned, you could just go ahead and delete the existing categories like this. Variable expenses are those which are not predictable, and we could never say in numbers how much we would like to spend. Variable expenses include groceries, pet care, childcare, and all the other subcategories we have added as examples. So let's add, let's say, post offices, or actually delivery. Savings and investments category is all about your personal financial savings and investments goals, which are different for everyone. So that as a subcategory, you could use the investing tools or savings goals, let's say, such as buying a house or business. All right. Income flows category represents all the possible income flows you are having, both passive and active income, so that it's a great way to monitor and see all the totals from all the different income flows. The category setup is also a one-time action, and you should not do it for each year. But if you have to later add additional categories, that's okay to do so. But do not later edit the categories you have already associated with the logs activity, as they do not automatically update in the actual logs, which may lead to errors on the dashboard later. In my case, I will be using the month January, the year 2025, but all the instructions are exactly the same for each month and the year. First, we have to choose the income flows and set the expected goals. Choose your income sources from the drop-down list and enter your goal and actual income amounts. Note that all the other fields are automatically calculated. If you need to add or edit income flow categories, please return to the setup page. The spreadsheet will compare your actual income against your goal amount. If your income is lower than your goal, the difference will be shown in red, like we have here, both as an amount and the percentage, and in opposite way. If your income exceeds your goal, the difference will be displayed in green, as we have here. To view your hour pay rate, simply enter the number of hours worked here. The rate will be automatically calculated based on your total income and hours worked. So let's say if we are adding another income flow, the hour rate will be updated accordingly to your logs. The income tab is really important to fill out, as all the other data are actually based on your income and your expenses. So ensure that you enter those. If, let's say, you do not enter the goal amount, you may see some error messages on the dashboard, as the dashboard will not be able to gather the data to compare your targets and your actual income, same as expenses. But as an advice, you can begin logging and monitoring your expenses immediately, even if you don't know your exact income at the start of the month yet. You can always update the income amounts later. Alright, now let's scroll down to the summary of fixed expenses field. All you have to do here is to only enter the expected maximum percentage you are planning to spend for the category of fixed expenses. In our case, this is 30%. But please do not forget to add the percentage sign, as if you do not do that, the calculations will show wrong. So ensure that you add the percentage sign next to the number. All the fields below are auto-calculated based on your total income received and the maximum percentage you have entered here you are planning to spend. So the goal amount shows your planned expenses, while the actual amount updates as you record your spending here. So let's say if I add the spending such as subscription, and I put, let's say, 100, it will be added automatically to the actual amount. And as it follows, if you exceed your budget, it will display a negative number to indicate overspending. The left to spend field continuously updates to show your remaining budget in both dollars and percentage. So, in order to start logging your fixed expenses, all you have to do is double-click on the date and choose the date from the Google Calendar. Then you have to pick up the categories you have set up at the setup page, add notes if needed, and enter the actual amount of spendings. Usually fixed expenses are pretty much the same, so quite often you could just copy this section to the next month and put them here. Now let's move to the summary of variable expenses log. Variable expenses usually involve more transactions to log and may seem overwhelming to track at first. However, maintaining disciplined record keeping is essential for taking control of your savings and investment strategy. By developing this financial discipline, you'll get valuable insights through analytics later. So we highly recommend establishing this practice, as it's a fundamental step toward achieving financial freedom and getting the full value out of this template. The logic of logging in the variable expenses is exactly the same as for the fixed ones. So all you have to do is to enter your expected percentage to spend for this category and making sure to include the percentage symbol next to the projected amount. All the fields are automatically calculated, and the goal amount reflects your planned expenses. Actual amount adjusts as you record your spending log here, and if you overspend, it will display as negative as we have here in this example. The left to spend field updates continuously to keep you informed of your progress in both numbers and percentage. So in this case, you know that you have already overspent 4% out of the projected maximum percentage to spend based on your total income. The goal amount field is calculated based on your total income receipt and the maximum amount that you are planning to spend for this category. To log your variable expenses, choose a date from the Google Calendar, select the category from the drop-down list, and enter the actual amount you have spent. If needed, you could also add additional notes. Now, as you could see, if you scroll up, you could review the top section for a visual breakdown of your spendings by category, displayed in both percentage and the number. Now let's move to the summary of savings log section. This section of the template is designed to set your savings and investments goals and track your progress against them. In this section, you do not have to do any actions, as the percentage is counted automatically. If you update the projected percentage to spend in any of those categories, the summary of savings percentage will be updated automatically based on your changes here. So, no actions are required for this section. Goal amount represents your planned savings target. The actual amount updates automatically as you log your investments and savings. Based on those auto calculations, we see that the goal amount in our case scenario has to be 3780. But we also have a column left to save, which shows you your actual savings you're supposed to have based on your total income and the summary of both fixed and variable expenses, so that you could see that 30% of your savings is equal to the goal amount 3780 in this case, but the actual amount of saving that you could additionally invest and save is the 5830 in our case scenario, which in ideal case scenario should match your savings and investments logs. So that in this case scenario, the goal amount 3780 has been almost completed, so we still have to save 780. Then the calculation shows us that we have completed our initial goal, which was 30% out of our total income. But the actual amount we could potentially save is actually 5830, so that it's up to you how you will spend the rest, so that you could see the full cash flow of your personal budgeting. Based on these analytics, you could make very good decisions on how you want to distribute your personal budgeting amounts. The logging activity is exactly the same. You only have to pick up the date from the Google Calendar, choose the category, and enter the actual amount. As already mentioned, when you log your savings and investments, make sure to choose the correct months. Otherwise, the main dashboard where you analyze your investments across all the years will not show those data correctly. To make this easier, we've added a red filter here, as shown below, so that if you select the wrong date, it will automatically highlight the date in red. For expenses, though, the date is optional and will not affect the dashboard. It means that if you are using the tab January 25, you only have to pick up the date for January 2025 and not the other months. Now that we have covered the setup and data log entry processes that will require most of your activity here, let's move on to the more enjoyable part of the spreadsheets, the dashboards. Expense Summary View is designed to analyze all your total expenses, both fixed and variable ones. No further actions are required here. The only one thing you have to remember here that if you are using the empty version of the template, and most probably you will, and you do not have, let's say, the data entered yet for any of the months, it will show the error messages. Here you could view and compare all your monthly and annual total expenses, including both fixed and variable costs. Now, the last part is the main dashboard here. On the main dashboard, you could view and analyze all your annual KPIs, see your investments breakdown, expense and income progress. But please note that the template requires complete monthly data entries to generate accurate reports. Error messages may appear if data is missing for any months. Here, you could compare your annual KPIs such as income, expense, savings, left to spend, best saving months, biggest expense. All you have to do here is to choose the required year you want to see the KPI annual statistics for. As already mentioned at the very beginning, we have added the year 2024 for those who have purchased the template in the end of the year. So please, you could just ignore that. So remember that the years are static in this specific template. As an advice, if you have to compare your annual KPIs, you could just hit File and Print, and you will be able to print all the annual KPIs for the specific year. If you scroll down, you will also be able to see the graphical view of annual goal versus actual goal distribution, same as annual goal distribution for fixed variable expenses, same as investments, so that you could actually see the great summary of your personal budget distribution and how much you are able to save and spend for each category, which is a great way to make the decisions on how you're going to plan your personal budgeting for the next calendar year. If you scroll down, you will also see the annual goal versus actual income distribution, savings and investments distribution, fixed expenses, and variable expenses one. Now, those KPIs are all made for the annual view, as most of them do not make sense to include in the 5-year overview. But if you scroll up, you will be able to see one more section, which is savings and investments breakdown, which is pretty much one of the main reasons of having this finance tracker for a lot of people. So that here you could pick up any date. And in our case scenario right now, we have the view of 3 years period of time. And now, if you actually click on this graphical view, you will be able to see the exact amount, same as percentage for each category of savings and investments for the custom period of time you have chosen here. So all you have to do for this section is to just pick up the needed months and the year from the Google Calendar so that you choose the needed range to view and analyze your savings and investments strategy. As mentioned earlier, for this breakdown to show correctly, you always have to ensure you pick up the right date while you create the log for savings and investments, as the analytics is tightened up to this date. I hope this video has been helpful for you. In case if you have any additional questions or the feedback, please ensure that you read frequently asked questions and warnings one more time in your text guide. But if you still have